Hi friends! Let's talk about my favorites list of 2023. I am late for this. I know, but I decided, why not, Why not? So here are some of the stats of mine last year. I read 40 books out of the 70 that I wanted, because my mental health for half of 2023 was abysmal. Anyway, I read more fiction than non-fiction. I read more in the YA, fantasy, contemporary, and romance, and LGBTQIA categories according to the Storygraph. What else? These are the moods that I read. And if I'm missing anything else, I'm gonna put it here. So, let's get into my favorites. Oh, right! What I'm missing is the freaking average rating. It was a pretty good average rating because I don't read a lot of books that I don't like. Either I DNF them and don't rate them as well. Oh, and I DNF'd 3 books last year. I forgot a lot of things. I DNF'd 3 books last year. One was, please don't come for me, The Priory Over the Orange Tree. I just could not get into it. I'm so sorry. I just could not get into it. High fantasy is mostly not my thing. I think the only high fantasy that I really, really love is The Poppy War. But anyway, then the Oracle Stone, I also just could not get into this one. It's an indie author and I really wanted to support them, but I could not connect to anything in that story, so I had to DNF it. And the third book was A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab has stolen too much of my time. I don't hate the woman, I just hate how she writes women in her books. My god! I have read 2 of her books, just A Darker Shade of Magic and The Near Witch. And The Near Witch, I hated. I think the main character is named Lexi. I hated her because she was making it about misogyny all the time when people were just concerned for her safety because, she was a teenager and teenagers were disappearing in the fucking town that she lived in. Girl, it's not misogyny, they just care about you. And then it was, like, the main character in A Darker Shade of Magic was doing great until she thought that, I think, Kel, whoever the male main character is, until she thought that he was underestimating her because she was a girl. I'm not irritated by misogyny written in books. It's the fact that she doesn't write misogyny into the books, but makes the main characters think that it's all misogyny. Up until that point, there had been, like, no instance of a misogyny in the whole fucking book. So I was assuming that it didn't exist. But no, apparently it does, but it doesn't, because it doesn't show on page anywhere else. It's just her thinking that. It irritated me, if you could tell. But anyway, let's get into my actual favorites. I have so many good books. Most of them are queer, by the way. Duh. Most of them are queer, but anyway. One of my earliest reads in the year was Ophelia After All by Hakel Murray. And I loved it because, like, first, the exploration of queerness, I loved that, but also the fact that, like, after Ophelia finds out that she is into girls, she feels like she can't talk to her parents, and it gets her so frustrated, and I felt that on a very visceral level. It hurt. It was cathartic. But yes, I loved this one. Next up, Loveless by Alice Oseman. every Aro Ace person I know that has read this book just gets in their feelings, and then I found out why. Like, this book is the way that Georgia goes about, understanding that she is asexual and that there's nothing wrong with her. It was just, and aromantic as well. It hit too close to home, man. And my experience with coming out and finding out my asexuality was nowhere near Georgia's, but it just, something about it still hits so hard. I can't believe I didn't tab it. Why didn't I tab it? I annotated it. Like, it's heavily annotated, but I didn't tab anything. What? Anyway, next. Cemetery Boys. And I have the hardcover. It's so... Look at this. It's so pretty. I can't properly explain why I liked this book so much. Like, maybe like the whole aesthetic, maybe the characters, maybe the relationships. I loved Yadriel's relationship with his cousin and his love interest. I don't know, man. There's just a lot to love about this book. Just so much. I know that there's a sequel coming. I'm excited for that. And I need to read more by Aiden Thomas. I really do. And this little buddy wanted to come into the video. Did you? Did you? This is not my dog, by the way. It's my cousin's girlfriend's dog. You've seen my dog in another video if you watched the video, but anyway. I say it as if there's a lot of people watching my video. Anyway, the next book, it's The Gearbreakers by Zoe Hanamikuta. The way that Eris and Sona are just everything to me. Everything. I just love them so much, and I love the found family. Like, this is about family at its best. I fucking loved it. I adored it, and obviously I adored the sequel. My God, I just love this duology. And up next, it's The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ancrum. The writer just sent me an arc for Icarus that's coming out. Not like physical, it's a digital arc, but still. I'm excited. Like, I love this because it's sapphic, it's a found family, and it's just like a science sci-fi thing. It was a lovely read. So I'm excited to read more from Kay Ancrum as well. Then we have The Name Freaking Bearer by Natalie Hernandez. Natalia Hernandez. My God, I have been waiting for this book for so long. Like, since Natalia made the first TikTok that was just like the dream that she had about the name bearer, like the plot of The Name Bearer. That has like that was so long ago, and I was waiting, and the waiting was worth it. And I have the sequel, but I haven't read it yet. I'm planning to read it for Latin Heritage Month. But just like, look at this cover. And the story, I loved it because it's like a Latin America inspired world. Then warrior women, then sapphics, and found family. I mean, it's like this was made specifically for me. Then we have Salt and Sugar by Rebecca Carvalho. This is by a Brazilian author. It reads like kind of a telenovela, and I love that for me because it's nostalgic. But also, it's also tabbed because it was quite cute and funny. And this is like kind of Romeo and Juliet vibes because like the two families are bakery rivals. But yeah, it's a nice read. This is This is a nice YA. It really is. And I want to see more Brazilian authors in the international scene because we exist. And when we talk about Latin A books, I want to be able to talk about Brazilian books as well. Like, they are there. A lot of our classic literature is also translated, so we can talk about those. Next up is Something More by Jackie Halilieh. This is by a Palestinian Canadian author. My bad. And the author is also autistic, and they made the main character autistic. And this is about the main character's journey, accepting and dealing with her autism. And there's a love corner, as if you couldn't tell by the cover. There's like two boys that she's in between. And it was a lovely read as well. Like it was, I was rooting for, I think the main character, I forgot her name, Jessie. I was rooting for Jessie so much. And this was just also a very cute read. I'm so happy that like young adult readers have books like these two, because they're just really nice for them to have. Oh, this is one of my Hey, Fred, para com isso. Para. Larga o bicho. Deixa ele quieto. Tá? Tá bom. Deixa ele quieto. He was messing with this thing that we put on the door to stop the door from closing. Or like hold the door open on the floor. But anyway, one of my absolute favorite reads of this year was EXO by EXO by Axio. I mean, it's like, it was serotonin. Like, it was serotonin inserted directly into my brain. It was so good. Like, this is also YA, and I love the trope of like a famous person paired up with a non-famous person. Like the angst and the cuteness that it brings. I love that dynamic. But this one is also about like a K-pop idol, so this book talks a lot about K-pop in a sense, and I mean, as someone who's currently very into K-pop, that's nice. But also it's just like the cuteness of the friendships here. Like, yes, the romance was great, but the friendships stole the show for me. They were just so adorable, and I can't wait for the spin-off, like the other girl's book. I forgot her name. I think it's Minso? No, it's not Minso. I forgot her name. Sori. Her name is Sori. Minsori. I can't like, I'm so excited for her book, and I need to read everything else by Axio, because I think they also write fantasy. She also writes fantasy, so I need to get into that. Also, one of my absolute freaking favorites was How Moon Fuentes Fell in Love with the Universe by Raquel Vasquez Gilliland. Mexican-American author. And this book is all literally like Moon Fuentes fell in love with the universe. It's like falling in love with herself. And in turn, falling in love with everything else. I loved the main character's journey. And the way that this talks about abuse, like, not physical abuse, but like emotional abuse, her mom, and the way that like it impacts her and her sister, named Star, if I'm remembering correctly. Moon and Star, I think. Yeah, that's her sister's name. How it impacted the two girls differently, and how it like impacted their relationship with each other. That was very interesting. And there's like a bit of romance here that is also very cute. I think the love interest, yeah, Santiago, they were adorable. They were freaking adorable. And last is Blood Like Magic by Lucille Sambury. I talked about this book in the last video that I made. It is so intense, but I love the characters and I love the world building here. I love this duology as well. It is so well constructed, and I know that this author has written 2 horror novels by this point that I also want to read. So I loved these books last year so much. Like these were the cream of the crop. Am I using that expression right? English is weird. But anyway, these were absolutely amazing. I am slapping my books. I am absolutely slapping my books. I'm just excited, okay? Excited! You can tell me your favorites of 2023 in the comments if you would like. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to spread. No, that was the old outro. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like the video. And thanks so much for watching. Bye!